Happy Wednesday! I got it right this time.
You beat me to it.
We're going to finish our fried chicken that we started the other day that we marinated in our buttermilk, if you remember. We're going to do some nice sweet potato fries, or chips. Boiling here today. You might be able to see, I am literally sweating. We've got a south-facing house, so this room actually really does heat up, and we've got no doors or windows open currently. That's my next job.
Yes, it is quite warm. Little man's asleep upstairs, and I'm hoping I've left the windows open.
Arabella's next door making a card for Abby, her teacher. Arabella?
Yeah.
Who's the card for?
Abby.
Abby?
Yeah.
Who's Abby?
My teacher.
Hey, so now we're going to finish off our fried chicken. I've got some smoked paprika, some fresh dried sage that we got from the garden. Of course, it's been drying for a few months. We've got some pepper, thyme, oregano, and garlic powder. We've got corn flour and plain flour. So I'm going to mix them all together. So I've got the chicken that I marinated in the buttermilk that we got from the Chatsworth farm, and that's on our Chatsworth farm vlog. So I'm going to drain my chicken, shake off the excess, and add it to my flour. I'm going to coat it in the flour. I'm going to add a glug of oil to my pan, add the chicken, and there goes my chicken, skin side down. I'm only going to put a couple of pieces. I do not want to overcrowd the pan. So once it's done, I'm going to transfer it into my oven dish, and then in the oven on 180 degrees for about 15 minutes, or until it's thoroughly cooked and nice and crunchy. Right, so I've got myself a sweet potato. I've peeled it already, as you can see. I'm going to cut it into chips. So now my sweet potato is all cut into chips, or fries. Get my bowl and throw them in a bowl. So they're all in my bowl. I've added a nice twist of pepper, some salt, and I'm going to add a glug of vegetable oil. I prefer vegetable oil because rapeseed and vegetable oil are exactly the same thing. Now I'm going to mix the oil around with the sweet potato so we get some salt and some pepper and some oil all on the potatoes. I've found if you mix the chips in the bowl with the oil, you don't put excess oil into the pan. The excess oil in the pan actually makes the chips soggy. So I've found. I'm going to put my chips onto my tray and then put my chips in the oven at about, I'd say about 250.
That is our fried chicken, and it looks scrummy.
And that's our sweet potato fries.
We're going to go to the park and take the kids out for some fresh air before it all goes. I think we're getting a bit of rain later, which will be nice. And water the garden.
Well, we're in Matlock Park. We've came out for a walk. As you can see behind me, Arabella is feeding the ducks.
Arabella? Yeah. Can you call him when we all laugh?
I feel dizzy.
Go.
Arabella, what are you doing?
I'm going to football.
Arabella, not that deep.
Has anyone got a towel we can borrow? We need one.
Arabella decided to go for a little paddle. A little paddle. This is the result. When I moved to Matlock about 4 years ago, what took me was the flood levels that used to happen. And if you can see here, you've got the flood in 1965 and the flood in 1960. It's really quite high. and that to me is quite a flood. And most of Matlock, I would have thought, would have been covered. In fact, I've seen pictures where the floods go actually part the way up the hill. I've just stung myself on stinging nettles all my ankles whilst I've been filming. It's very tingly, should we say. I'm stood in the flower part of the park. Behind me you'll be able to see a clock tower. Now this is now, it's still in Matlock Park, but I'm not quite sure when. That clock tower was in the middle of the roundabout in Matlock. The roundabout's now known as Crown Square, but in the day it sat central to the roundabout, and it wasn't, I don't think it was a roundabout then, it was actually just a crossroads.
Bye-bye from me.
And bye from me. And we're Disney Vacated, but not for long.